A 74-year-old gentleman sat in my office today. His hands weren't trembling due to illness, but rather from a more subtle source. Mura personal, he gazed at me and confessed, I didn't even realize I was doing this to myself. For years, he had maintained a personal habit that millions of men engage in, often unaware of how it quietly influenced their bodies and minds, shaping their self-perception as men. And he's certainly not the only one. I'm Dr. Laura Hayes. For more than 25 years now, I've been dedicated to helping older men safeguard their vitality, intimacy, and dignity. I've witnessed how silence, shame, and misinformation keep far too many men from truly understanding the changes occurring in their bodies after they turn 60. Today, I want to share something that most doctors hesitate to voice after this age. Masturbation evolves over time. If you fail to adapt to these shifts, it could affect much more than you might think: your circulation, prostate health, mood, confidence. You've been led to believe it's natural and harmless, and often that's correct. However, the manner in which you engage with it carries greater significance than you realize. Throughout the years of my practice, I've uncovered 5 vital truths that older men wish they'd discovered sooner, insights that can empower you to maintain your function and protect your health while ensuring you feel like yourself, not just between the sheets but throughout every facet of life. I encourage you to stick around until the end, because the final revelation might transform your perspective on aging itself as well as on connection and your overall well-being. If you haven't subscribed yet to Balance Health Seniors or activated the notification bell for our candid discussions tailored specifically for older adults like yourself, now's your chance. And if this topic resonates with you today, type 1 in the comments so I know you're engaged. If not, type 0. Your input is invaluable for me as I strive to support your journey better. Let's dive into our first secret, a truth that has reshaped how many older men view themselves along with their sense of self-worth. I'll never forget meeting Thomas, a 72-year-old man who sat across from me one day with worry etched across his face. "Dr. Hayes," he said softly, "I can't do what I used to do. Does that mean I'm no longer a man?" This poignant question has reverberated through my office countless times over the years. Too many men in their 60s and 70s believe that if their erections aren't as firm or reliable as they once were, that somehow equates to an end of their sexuality or even manhood itself. Here's what I wish every man over 60 could hear: your erection isn't everything. It doesn't define failure, it signifies evolution. As we age, our blood flow diminishes, hormone levels fluctuate, nerves take longer to respond. What used to happen effortlessly now requires patience and care. This shift isn't indicative of being broken, it's simply a sign that your body is changing in ways you're capable of adapting to. The world we grew up in often linked masculinity solely with performance. No one told us pleasure still matters. That's why so many men find themselves silently panicking when bodily responses begin shifting unexpectedly. They feel defective without realizing orgasm isn't synonymous with erection. You can still achieve profound release alongside emotional closeness, even physical satisfaction, without replicating what occurred at 25. Thomas was one such individual who learned this valuable lesson. Once he abandoned measuring intimacy by rigidity alone, the richness arose through deeper connections with his partner. A slower pace emerged filled with attentive exploration rather than pressure. When we cease chasing past experiences, and instead embrace present realities, we unlock avenues towards deeper pleasures rooted firmly within mutual respect. You remain whole, you remain worthy, and above all else, you're still capable of joy even if stepping onto different paths than before. This first secret serves as a cornerstone upon which everything else rests moving forward. Speaking about revelations most men have never heard before, let's transition into our second secret, one revealing why masturbation beyond 60 encompasses far more than mere physicality. Not long ago I met Howard, a retired veteran aged 77 who approached my office not out of pain but rather stating simply, "I just don't feel anything anymore, physically or emotionally." Initially assuming it stemmed purely from physical issues, I quickly discerned underlying patterns emerging during conversation time together. The reality struck home hard. Howard had resorted nightly toward masturbation, not out desire, but rather coping mechanisms against sleeplessness coupled loneliness stemming from living alone for many years. Unbeknownst to him, this habit transformed less about pleasure and morphed into survival mode. Here's something essential every man should grasp after reaching 60. Masturbation rarely remains merely physical, it intricately intertwines emotions connected directly tied brain chemistry alongside nervous systems functioning overall health. Post-orgasmic releases flood powerful neurochemicals such dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, regulating moods, enhancing sleep, alleviating anxiety. All vital, especially among those feeling isolated under stress, where simple acts become lifelines, allowing true relaxation moments amidst chaos surrounding them. Yet there exists hidden risks when habitual activities morph into automatic escapes, leading individuals away from confronting feelings left unnamed, slowly draining meaning behind actions undertaken daily. As time progresses, bodily motions continue, but emotional threads begin fraying apart, leaving connections dulled, eventually impacting capabilities engaging wholly within relationships formed externally too. To Howard, I offered advice frequently shared amongst patients alike. The goal shouldn't focus solely on cessation, but rather cultivating awareness surrounding practices employed daily, encouraging mindfulness during experiences faced altogether. By slowing down, paying attention toward sensations, breathing, thoughts, emotions surfacing during engagements, present encounters, shift perspectives, transforming mindless habits into forms supporting overall clarity, neurological well-being, fostering stronger senses regarding worthiness felt personally deep inside oneself truly matters immensely, moving forward towards healthier lifestyles cultivated consistently thereafter, leading ultimately toward fulfilling relationships established thereafter. Howard embraced these insights, wholeheartedly dedicating time each week devoid distractions, television, phones, etc. Just himself, creating spaces wherein presence thrived without interruptions, gradually noticing heightened sensations emerging alongside emotional releases, evoking calmer states achieved afterward, proving transformative powers lie within understanding intricate connections formed throughout lives lived actively, engaged, continuously pursuing fulfillment, remaining available, actively participating, fully embracing futures ahead, filled hope, joy, love, connection. Chunk. Many men often overlook how adaptable your brain is, yet as the years go by, its flexibility diminishes. The allure of pornography unleashes a powerful surge of dopamine, the brain's pleasure chemical, combined with a constant influx of newness and striking visuals. Gradually, this trains your brain to require that heightened level of stimulation. Consequently, genuine touch, whether from yourself or a partner, can start to feel muted or far away. Your imagination dims, and emotional ties weaken. Since these changes unfold slowly, most men remain oblivious until the chasm between fantasy and reality feels insurmountable. Ernest articulated it beautifully. It's akin to being in a room with lights on but no windows. He could perceive the stimuli but struggled to connect in any significant manner. The silver lining? You can retrain your brain if you're ready to step back from those screens. Ernest and I devised a gradual approach that substituted porn with mindful self-exploration, taking things slow, concentrating on sensations, breathing deeply, and savoring memories instead of fast-paced videos. Within just weeks, he began experiencing subtle shifts, increased sensitivity, deeper emotional involvement, greater pleasure. His imagination reignited alongside a profound satisfaction he hadn't felt in years. This is precisely why this insight holds such importance. Porn itself isn't the adversary, rather its reliance on it that can dull the instincts essential for authentic intimacy. Reconnecting with your own body and inner self allows you to revive not only physical sensations but also emotional ones too. And once you do this work, you'll discover that real-life connections, with yourself or others, can prove far more gratifying than anything displayed on a screen. At 75 years old, Walter posed a question I've encountered many times before yet still managed to catch me off guard. "Dr. Hayes," he whispered shyly, "is it still acceptable for me to touch myself at my age?" There was an air of embarrassment in his tone, as if he were revealing something shameful, but what Walter failed to recognize, and what I wish every older gentleman understood, is that intentional masturbation can be one of the most vital acts of self-care remaining in their lives. From a biological perspective, it promotes healthy pelvic tissue by enhancing blood circulation and supports prostate health by clearing stagnant fluids. Plus it releases neurochemicals such as dopamine and oxytocin, which alleviate anxiety while boosting mood and improving sleep quality. For men grappling with stress or feelings of loneliness due to physical changes, these advantages can truly make an impact, but there's more beneath those biological benefits. Masturbation serves as an avenue for maintaining connection with the part within you that continues feeling desire, a facet still holding onto identity and affirming life itself. Without nurturing this link, it becomes all too easy to retreat into silence, the invisible role society often assigns older men, which implies they should cease wanting or feeling altogether, a cruel misconception indeed. After losing his wife, Walter stopped everything. For 6 long years he denied himself even a moment's physical pleasure, saying, "I thought that chapter was closed." Yet upon granting himself permission again without pressure, everything shifted. His mood lightened considerably along with improved sleep patterns, and even his posture appeared less burden. He wasn't seeking youthfulness. Instead he was reclaiming dignity. That essence lies at the core of this truth regarding masturbation during later stages in life. It transcends nostalgia, it emphasizes presence while fostering health and affirming one's worthiness. I remind my patients consistently, you are not invisible, you are not done. There remains so much left for you still, to experience, to give, to relish. When treating your body kindly, with respect, curiosity, you reaffirm vitality isn't merely determined by age but rather engagement itself. Now that we have explored all 5 secrets together, let us weave them into one cohesive conclusion, so each element reveals its role within the grander narrative about living fully beyond 60 years old. If you've journeyed alongside me through these 5 revelations, I'm grateful, not just for listening, but also for summoning courage towards discussing topics many men like yourself were never granted permission to address openly. That alone places you among an exceptional group who opt for understanding over silence. We began unraveling myths surrounding male identity tied solely via erection. We discovered how intimacy after 60 might flourish when gauged through connection rather than performance metrics. We delved into masturbation's emotional significance, recognizing its healing power when approached mindfully. We uncovered use it or lose it isn't simply an expression but rooted in biological reality, showing keeping active preserves function. We highlighted hidden pitfalls associated with porn, revealing dependency dulls sensitivity, weakening true intimate experiences, whilst stepping back may reignite natural responses. Finally, we acknowledged masturbation can act as lifeline, sustaining health, dignity, sense of worth. Here's what I want etched into memory: the desire doesn't retire, it evolves, softens, alters, yet never vanishes. When learning how best meet where your body currently stands, not where it used to stand, you unlock pathways leading toward renewed vitality. You remain visible, you're very much alive, capable, still experiencing, giving, receiving pleasure. Choices made today, whether neglecting nurturing aspects, will ultimately shape forthcoming years ahead. If any particular truth resonated, share within comments. Let's continue this dialogue flowing onward. Subscribe, Balance Health Seniors, activate notification bell, ensuring future insights designed empower stronger, healthier connections post 60. And if someone dear needs hearing these words, send them along. They may never realize just how transformative one conversation could prove, because you deserve authenticity, you deserve support, most importantly you deserve to feel alive again.